And let's put it this way, if he can beat my son, he's entitled to the money. That's why he's here.
Strongest man versus Tyson Fury. Anyway, I was pushing at that, and I don't know what's gone on with John and Tyson, but something's gone on, and he fired back pretty hard. And then I was just so fed up. I was trying to get in nowhere with these guys. I'm like, look, you talk the talk, you fucking walk around headbutting and smacking people and punching windows and whatever else. I said, well, why don't you guys fucking put your money where your mouth is for once and fucking do something? And then before I knew it, I had a contract to fight Tommy Fury, which I was just like, what the fuck is this? And
that is misfits all over. They hear about a little bit of beef, honestly, and they're like, bang, let's do it.
Man, I was honestly gobsmacked. And I picked up the phone, tried to call Tommy. I was like, mate, what the fuck is this? Message me, like, call me back. Wouldn't reply to me, didn't call me back. So I guess he wanted it. So the next day I signed.
Right news wrong. Because the difference in me, if my son couldn't do it, I wouldn't have him here. If my son couldn't cope with the pressure, I wouldn't have him here. We thrive on this. He's got the super king in there with him, his brother. And when he's with us and God's with us, who can be against us? Enough said.
John Fury directly warns Eddie Hall that stepping into the ring with Tommy Fury is a death wish. He believes the difference in boxing speed, timing, and experience is too wide. In his eyes, Tommy Fury has the tools to completely overwhelm Eddie Hall if this fight turns physical and real damage starts landing.
He's been making videos for the last 2 years, and his mate, and the two's not worth a box. The two wouldn't make a good man, them. Yeah, he was a good champion in the ring, I'm not saying he wasn't. The man's a 2 or 3 time world champion, credit to what he's done, but outside, mate, he will be no good to me, because I'd tear him to pieces, he knows that.
Is that the first?
The inside of me is nothing but gruel in hard work. If you want to get somewhere in this game, you've got to train like that, and act like that, and have the right kind of mindset. You know, working like this and eating right and training right, you're going to be look right, aren't you? You know, because without the conditioning there, without training to go in the trenches, and no matter who you're boxing, you've got to train like this for them. Because fighting's the hardest job in the world, isn't it?
There's no one better to train with than my dad, because at the end of the day, there's nobody who knows you better than your own father.
Eddie Hall does not hold back in this statement. He makes it clear that emotions and loyalty are driving his mindset into this situation. That kind of mentality removes hesitation, but also increases danger against a skilled boxer like Tommy Fury.
You know, it's like if someone fell out with my dad, I don't think I could be friends with him. You know, if someone said something bad or fell out with my dad, I'd probably want to hurt them as well. So
Tommy Fury does not hold back in his assessment. He focuses directly on Eddie Hall's biggest weakness, his chin and lack of boxing experience. He is confident that timing, accuracy, and boxing IQ will expose the gap between them once they are in the ring.
And, you know, in the ring all the time, but what's different, you know, the muscles can't get on the chin, and I'm looking to find that chin, so we'll see.
Eddie, obviously Calla says at the start there, we know what we're going to expect from you in the ring. I'm hearing from speaking to people in your interviews that may not be the case. Obviously,
the breakdown shows a clear boxing gap between both fighters. Eddie Hall brings raw strength and athletic ability, but technical boxing skill is limited. Tommy Fury is expected to control distance and pace if he stays composed early, using experience to avoid heavy exchanges and take control of the fight.
He's going to take it seriously. Now, I expect Tommy to pretty much do what he wants with him if he can get, you know, Eddie to relax a little bit after the first, second, and maybe third round. Because as big as Eddie is and as athletic as he is, he can't box very much. He's not a great boxer. He swings for the bleachers. He's got great power, obviously, and he's a good athlete. Like, he's a really good quick-twitch athlete. But even in the Hafthor Bjornsson fight, I can't even believe we're referencing this in terms of a Tommy Fury fight, but even in that fight, I know Eddie had like one arm because he had a shoulder messed up, but Thor outboxed him and stuck a left hand on him. He was the southpaw. It was tricky, but hey, listen, and Tommy is not like a high-level operator, but he better be high-level enough.
Simon Jordan keeps it very direct about the spectacle side of this fight. He acknowledges the entertainment value, but also the real danger involved when someone like Eddie Hall steps into a boxing ring. Even with experience, Tommy Fury is still facing a physically massive opponent who carries real punching power.
Determinant, won't it? If it's a good fun event and you take it for what it is. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in it. You know, I wouldn't be across the ring from this fella. But notwithstanding, I'm quite happy for Tommy Fury to get a punch in the face.
Frank Warren highlights the business and risk side of this matchup. The fight is not only about competition, but also massive attention and financial reward. Tommy Fury benefits from experience and promotion backing, while Eddie Hall brings mainstream appeal and raw unpredictability.
It's grabbed everybody's attention for various reasons. And they're getting, Tommy's getting life-changing money. And, how can you, I can't knock that. You're in the ring, it's a dangerous place to be. And, my job is if I see a fight that I feel he can win and I'll put him into it, then I'll do that. And it gets him, gets him further up the ladder. Not only do I think he can win it, I think, obviously he's...
Vidal Riley keeps it balanced, but still leans towards Tommy Fury's advantage. He respects Eddie Hall's size and strength, but makes it clear that boxing experience should matter once the fight settles. The uncertainty still keeps this matchup interesting for fans.
Eddie, when I sparred Eddie, he was 140 kg. I don't know how much he's gonna have to be for Tommy. But Tommy should win, innit? He should win. But Eddie Hall, who knows? It makes sense for Tommy, innit? It's a good fight.
Tom Aspinall gives a very honest and balanced view of this matchup. He clearly acknowledges Tommy Fury's boxing foundation, built from years of technical training, timing, and ring awareness. That kind of experience usually gives a strong edge in controlling distance and avoiding danger. But he does not ignore Eddie Hall's raw fighting ability and sheer physical power. Even without traditional boxing polish, Eddie Hall carries real knockout threat with every punch. Aspinall highlights the key reality that this fight is not one-sided on paper, because one clean shot from Eddie could end it instantly, while Tommy Fury's path relies on skill, discipline, and sustained control over rounds to neutralize the size and strength difference.
Tommy is obviously a boxer. Eddie can fight as well, though, to be fair. So, yeah.
You train with both of them, though.
I train with both of them.
What's the skills? What's the breakdown for this one?
Tommy's been boxing all his life, so you would think that the edge should go to Tommy, but Eddie can actually genuinely fight. So
Dave Allen gives a very blunt and honest reaction here. He shows respect for both Tommy Fury and Eddie Hall, but clearly separates entertainment from pure boxing standards. In his view, this fight sits more in the crossover spectacle category rather than a traditional competitive bout. Even though he criticizes it as a proper boxing contest, he still admits the interest factor is strong enough to make people watch. That is the real power of this matchup. It brings curiosity, debate, and attention from both boxing fans and casual viewers. Whether people love it or hate it, they are still tuning in because of the unique clash between a trained boxer and a world's strongest man, which creates a completely different kind of fight atmosphere.
Watch it. Of course I'll watch it. I like Tommy Fury a lot. I'm a Tommy Fury fan. Eddie Hall. I'm an Eddie Hall fan. I like the world's strongest man. A lot of respect for him. So of course I'll watch it. I'll watch it as it's a spectacle, in it. It's part of the new bit of circusry that's come into boxing. All these exhibitions, different people from different sports coming in. But for all intents and purposes, as a boxing match, what a load of bollocks. Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't like it too much. But I'll watch it because it's like it's interesting in lots of ways, and I think people find it interesting.
Eddie Hall expresses pure frustration and aggression in this moment, showing exactly where his motivation is coming from. He feels surrounded by talk and disrespect, and that has pushed him toward taking real action inside a boxing ring. This mindset gives him emotional fuel, confidence, and willingness to engage physically without hesitation. However, boxing is not just about aggression or strength alone. It requires timing, defense, patience, and technical awareness under pressure. Against someone like Tommy Fury, who has been trained for years in controlled boxing environments, the difference becomes very important. Eddie Hall's mindset is dangerous in terms of intent, but it also raises the risk of mistakes once he is forced to deal with speed, angles, and structured combinations inside the ring.
I was just so fed up. I was trying to get in nowhere with these guys. I'm like, look, you talk the talk, you fucking walk around headbutting and smacking people and punching windows and whatever else. I said, well, why don't you guys fucking put your money where your mouth is for once and fucking do some...
Tommy Fury makes it clear that the emotional tension behind this fight is not purely his own personal rivalry, but something connected to his family name and outside conflict. That adds pressure because even if he claims to be stepping in for his father, once the fight begins it becomes fully his responsibility inside the ring. He will need to stay focused and not get dragged into emotion or outside noise. Eddie Hall brings size and knockout power, which means every exchange carries danger. Tommy Fury's advantage lies in structure, experience, and boxing discipline, but he must execute perfectly. One mistake against a much heavier opponent could shift the entire fight instantly, so control and composure will decide how this storyline unfolds.
I mean, at the end of the day, the real beef is between Eddie and my dad. You know, that's genuinely what has happened here. I'm only doing this fight because of my dad. So the real beef is between Eddie and my dad, and I'm obviously just stepping up to the plate. Tyson's on a different stratosphere. Basically, Eddie was having a pop between all the Furies. You know, he wanted to fight with a Fury, and he's got...
Dave Allen looks at this fight from a very straightforward perspective, focusing on the crossover nature of the matchup. He respects Eddie Hall's achievements as world's strongest man and acknowledges Tommy Fury's boxing background, but he clearly sees this as a commercial spectacle more than a pure sporting contest. From his point of view, the pairing is unusual because both men come from completely different worlds, one from strength sports and the other from boxing. Still, he also points out the business reality behind it, suggesting both fighters are benefiting financially from the attention. That highlights the modern boxing landscape where entertainment value, personality clashes, and crossover appeal can sometimes matter just as much as technical ability inside the ring.
World's strongest man, amazing. Do you know what I mean? Brilliant. He's fighting Tommy Fury. I thought they were mates. They probably are mates. They're probably making a fucking fortune as well.
The analysis here focuses on Eddie Hall's actual fighting mechanics and how he generates danger. Even though he is not a polished boxer, his ability to close distance and throw powerful right hands makes him unpredictable. The key concern is that he does not rely on a structured jab, but more on setups to land heavy shots. That makes his attacks less refined, but still extremely dangerous if they land clean. At the same time, there is recognition that Tommy Fury will need to manage distance carefully because even arm punches from Eddie carry real knockout threat. This creates a scenario where technique meets raw force, and the smallest mistake in positioning could lead to serious consequences inside the ring.
He'd be a lot more dangerous. Step in with the left foot, step with the back foot as well, and then just run that right hand. Was it a feint, or did he just not get there? I mean, either way, make your punches look like feint, because he doesn't really try to land the jab. He's just showing it to him so he can get to the right hand. Bring his feet, and that's a lot more dangerous. Even arm punching, though, Eddie can crack.
This breakdown highlights Eddie Hall's main weapon, the right hand, and how he must set it up properly to be effective. Without preparation through the jab, his power shots become easier to read and defend. The analysis also emphasizes Tommy Fury's movement and footwork, which are expected to play a major role in controlling the fight. If Tommy keeps circling and maintaining distance, it becomes very difficult for Eddie to land clean power shots. However, if Eddie manages to close the gap and cut off the ring, his size and strength immediately become a serious threat. This creates a tactical battle between movement and pressure, where timing and positioning will decide who controls the exchanges.
Big jab by Eddie. Throws Johnny back. Nice jab by Johnny. Traded jabs. Now that was a nice 1-2 there by Eddie. We all know what Eddie's going to do coming into this fight. He's going to be looking for that big right hand, but he's not going to be able to find it if he throws it naked. He needs to hide it behind that jab, and that's if he can catch Tommy Fury, because Tommy is going to be on his bike.
Francis Warren describes a very intense sparring environment, showing that both Eddie Hall and Tommy Fury have experienced real competitive exchanges before this fight. Even though sparring is not the same as a professional bout, it still gives insight into mindset, toughness, and willingness to engage. Eddie Hall's confidence in mixing it physically with trained fighters shows his belief in himself, while Tommy Fury's presence in these sessions reflects his professional approach and boxing discipline. The key takeaway is that both men have shared respect through training experiences, but sparring success does not guarantee fight night results. Once the lights are bright and pressure is real, everything changes, and execution under full pressure becomes the deciding factor.
You know, his ability to go in there and believe that he can go and mix it with these guys. This is sparring at the end of the day, and you know, but I know for a fact that both guys appreciated each other's work.
Eddie Hearn focuses on the importance of structured preparation and high-level sparring in developing fight readiness. Training camp consistency and quality partners are key factors in improving timing, stamina, and ring awareness. This suggests that Tommy Fury's preparation has been serious and disciplined, giving him a strong foundation heading into this matchup. The emphasis on quality sparring also highlights how important technical refinement is compared to raw strength alone. Against someone like Eddie Hall, who relies more on power and physicality, that technical preparation could play a major role in controlling the fight. However, preparation only matters if it translates under pressure, and once both men are in the ring, adaptability and composure will ultimately decide the outcome.
Was sparring. You know, it's the first time where we consistently had 7 or 8 guys in camp, living in camp, training with him day in, day out. And it made a big difference in the fights. I think he knows that the way that he's going to improve is time in the gym and also the quality of sparring. And of course, Fury will be outstanding work.
This fight is all about pressure, power, and pure unpredictability because it brings two completely different worlds into one ring. Tommy Fury enters as the boxer with years of technical training, footwork, timing and control, built to handle distance and break down opponents over rounds. Eddie Hall steps in as the massive physical force with raw strength, heavy hands, and the kind of punching power that can end a fight instantly if it lands clean. That clash alone makes this one of the most dangerous crossover matchups in modern boxing. If Tommy Fury wins, it proves that skill, discipline, and ring IQ can still overcome size and strength, and it strengthens his reputation as a serious professional fighter who can stay composed under pressure. But if Eddie Hall shocks the world, it becomes a massive upset that changes how people look at crossover fights forever, showing that one powerful shot can erase all technical advantages. Mentally, Tommy Fury looks calmer and more controlled, while Eddie Hall brings emotion, hunger, and aggression which can be dangerous if channeled correctly. In the end, this is not just about experience or power, it is about who executes first under pressure. Now the real question is simple. Who do you think wins when it truly matters? Drop your prediction in the comments and subscribe for more boxing breakdowns and fight reactions.